So the Cubs, they had business to take care of before they head to St. Louis for a 4-pack versus the Redbirds, and they were not able to get it done. With that said, this is Cubs Postgame Live presented by Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. In the rubber match, well, it sprung in favor of those Seattle Mariners, 14-6, a blowout fashion as J-Rod and fellas, they get on the plane and head to the land of 10,000 lakes with smiles splayed across their faces. So with that said, come on in. This is Cubs Postgame Live. I'm Cole Wright alongside Elise Menaker, our resident Hall of Famer. And forget double duty Radcliffe. Elise pulling double duty today on the call. Fantastic job. And
thank you.
Unfortunately, the Cubs not able to get it done today.
Yeah, so you knew with the weather it was going to be another one of those days. The ball is flying out of the park. And so that held true. It was just a matter of, can you outscore, obviously, the Mariners? Or as Craig Counsell put it when I mentioned during the game, right? Can your starter outdo the other team's starter? You knew it was going to be a tough task against Logan Gilbert. And Seiya Suzuki, man, getting a hold of things in this game today.
He was making up for my picks the last 2 days because I had Seiya during our FanDuel same game parlay. But
Did
that's
you hit
here
the over? Didn't you have
That's here nor there,
Oh,
Elise.
wow.
Let's get into these highlights because we have business to tend
that's
to.
a no.
Mariners Cubs game 3. It's the rubber match, and as Elise mentioned, it was a little gusty out there. And Colin Ray, well, he didn't stay out of the danger zone. A big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Look at this guy. Everything that he's put forth in this series, it has been next level. Then we saw Dominic Canzone, Donovan Solano. These guys, they hit the batting cages at sluggers before the game, Elise.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what does the trick, good for you. But yeah, just leaving pitches over the plate, catching too much of the zone. Same thing can happen for the Cubs. Reese McGuire.
Got him! What do you call that on the streets, Elise?
A bombski?
That's right. I don't know if they necessarily call that on the streets.
I call it that.
Okay.
Maybe some people.
That's right. Solo stroll right there out to the big field. Cubs, they made it 5-2, and well, Reese certainly putting a charge into that one, traveling nice and far, 432 feet, and then Seiya Suzuki.
Ridiculous.
Oh boy, that was his second of the game. It played to Kyle Tucker and made it 5-4 Seattle. They were in the lead, but the Cubs, they're within striking distance.
Yeah, so Seiya single-handedly just trying to get the Cubs. They can score in a hurry with the long ball. We've seen that recently in this stretch. Now 14 games, they've used the home run. Maybe not win in this case, but keep themselves in it.
Yeah, still a one-run ball game. Colin Ray still out there dealing. Dominic Canzone, again, another solo stroll. So the Mariners, they extend their lead to a 2-run cushion.
Yeah, so you're just hoping at this point to keep it within reason. Colin Ray goes back out, and Canzone had a day today, bottom of the order for the Mariners too.
That's right. Mariners now with a 3-run lead, and Solano, again, I said don't let this dude leave the yard, and guess what, Elise? They let him leave the yard.
Yeah, and so with someone on, it's a 2-run shot, and this game slowly but surely kind of getting out of hand.
No, not.
Flexen giving up runs, not like him, right? He's been so good.
We haven't seen that happen all season long. Bottom 7 still tied 9-4, or still 9-4 game, not tied clearly, unless math is not your thing, which it clearly was not as I'm reading this highlight.
Not my thing either, Cole.
Kyle Tucker getting him right back in the mix. A 3-run ball game, striking distance. It's attainable once again.
Yeah, you love this. I mean, Kyle Tucker here in a nutshell in one swing. What he can do, if you make a mistake, he's going to take advantage, drives it, center field, gone.
Well, that was a gigantic shell because that swing, yeah, some power. You see it from there. Kyle smiling around the bases, and that got the Cubs back in the mix. But hold on a second, because the Mariners with a 4-run lead, 10-6. Nate Pearson on the mound, and Randy Arozarena, a 2-run double. This one grabbing some outfield grass in left field. The Mariners, they increased their advantage. It's 12-6, and they would go on to win, and they would win big in this one, Elise.
Yeah, Nate Pearson, it was a tough day, so his first time back up in a little bit and just had trouble locating the fastball.
Yeah, 14-6, that's the final tally as the Mariners outpaced the Cubs in the hit category, 18-10, and well, you got to play clean defense if you want to find yourselves on the winning end of a contest. 2 errors to Seattle 0. That right there is not going to get it done. And Colin Ray, we saw him attempt to go out there and get things done. 89 pitches, 57 strikes, 5 1/3, but the 4 home runs, that certainly was the backbreaker for him today.
Yeah, so it's kind of been the story. So Colin Ray is going to be a guy who gets ahead, throws first pitch strikes. He's had trouble in the first inning, and he's had trouble against lefties. So you have Cal Raleigh at the plate in that first inning, and it all kind of comes to a head. You're not a fan of them throwing.
Not at all. You could have put him on first base. You could have tried to maneuver your way through those waters. Don't give him anything to hit. He was given something to hit, and just like that, in the blink of an eye, it's 2-zip.
Well, I think you want to avoid traffic, especially this early in the game, and I think you're just counting on Colin Ray to locate. You can't leave it over the plate for Raleigh because Raleigh has proven every single game in this series he will take advantage.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons it's not necessarily doubt in Colin Ray with that pitch early on in the ball game. It's the ultimate belief in what we've seen out of Cal Raleigh. And the Cubs, they were able to get to Logan Gilbert. You see 4 earned runs right there. So the Cubs, they could have found themselves in this ball game. It could have been a lot closer if they would have maybe game planned just a little different.
Yeah, well, I think you get yourself back in the game, and it's just a matter of then now you're relying on your bullpen. You know that runs are going to be scored. I mean, at any point in this game, you never felt like the scoring was done. And so I think, like you mentioned, credit against Logan Gilbert. This is not a guy who gives up even 4 runs in starts. Has a lot of strikeouts, one of the top strikeout pitchers in the game, does not walk guys. And so the Cubs are getting some traffic against him. They get some long balls, Seiya Suzuki, some credit for that. But all in all, it really started to unravel because they're fighting their way back. Then, you need to stop the Mariners from scoring to give yourself a chance, and that just didn't happen for the Cubs bullpen today. All in all, they've been really good.
They have
Got to
been
give them a lot. Like Chris Flexen has been phenomenal.
Superb.
Yeah, and so finally gives up a couple of runs. I don't mean finally in a good way, but, if runs are going to be scored, it's going to be on days like we've seen the last couple of days, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, the bullpen not able to play the role of tourniquet today to stop that bleeding. And word to the wise, Rocco Baldelli and the Minnesota Twins. If Cal Raleigh's in the batter's box and there's any count, any point in the game, just give him one of these. Move on down to first base because the big dumper, he is a man on a mission, inching closer each and every single day to 35-plus home runs at the All-Star break. A 14-6 loss, not